welcome. This is the Knowledge Power Hour produced by the Exquisite Taste Network. And I'm your host, Sonia Logan. We are in our series for Financially Free for 23. And I have a treat for you. But before we start that, I want you to let you know that our guest who's coming in, he is a phenomenal young man. I've talked to him a couple of times, and I just think that he's going to bring a lot of good deets to the table. So while you're at it, before I bring him, and while I'm talking, go get you a pen and paper so you can write some things down that you might necessarily have any questions or concerns that you want to address with him. So write them down so you'll be able to ask him these things, and then you can put them in the comments. Don't forget to like and share and let other people know about us, because sharing is caring. Get it out there. Share this out with any and everybody, because we're here to help you become financially free this year, the year, and years to come. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about getting your life in order with Kareem. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about a little something that I found out. Do you know that according to the 2022 report by LIMRA, that Black Americans are the most likely group to own life insurance? That's 56% of Black Americans owning life insurance. Y'all, that is an amazing thing versus the stats that used to be a few years ago before the pandemic. We were most likely the majority of the ones who always having a GoFundMe, some kind of fried chicken party or whatever you want to call it, fish fries, in order to raise the money to get it together to bury our loved ones. And now we are the ones who is riding this wave and getting where we need to be. And in these key stats, it also shows that 68% of of the Blacks, are life insurance owners that plan to pay for their kids' college fund. That came through New York Life that this was going on. Black life insurance owners have 1/3 the amount of coverage that white life insurance owners have. 80% of Black people report life insurance as a goal for them and their family. The reasons for buying the life insurance is 83% of them reported it's a key way to take care of their families. 22% of Black Americans are reporting building integrational wealth as a reason to buy life insurance, compared to only 8% of whites. 37% of Black life insurance owners intend to leave a legacy with their life insurance. 37% of Black Americans reported getting life insurance to protect their loved ones for the unpaid debts, compared to 64% of whites. 28% of Black life insurance owners use life insurance to transfer wealth. These percentages of purchasing life insurance has fallen over time, but was boosted because of the pandemic. They said that the life insurance owners from 53% to 56% within a year span from 2020 to 2021. That was that increase. It was a 3% increase, which is great. And that the life insurance ownership back in the day back in 1989 was 71.8, and it fell to 61.2 in 2013. Y'all see what I'm dropping? But as we're going forward, let me go ahead and bring y'all this young man, because, I only know what I know, but he's the one with the information. And as we always say on Knowledge Power, it's not knowledge, it's not powerful unless you apply it. So let's get to it. Kareem, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing today, Miss Sonia?
I'm doing fine. So tell everybody about you. Where you from, and where you work, and what you doing.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So I'm originally from a small town, not really small, but down South Savannah, Georgia. So 912 area. I'm living currently in Atlanta, right? Kind of up here. Been up here. I went to college up here actually. So kind of what brought me to the area. I went to Kennesaw State University. I played football there. Had a great career. Graduated with a business degree. Was blessed enough to kind of get into this profession. I kind of just been doing it ever since. My biggest thing is really not about I don't call it sales. I more so call it serving. Just being able to serve and educate our community, people, and kind of just help protect their loved ones at the same time. So that's kind of what a little bit about me, just briefly.
Okay. So tell them why are you into insurance, life insurance to be exact?
Okay, yes, ma'am. So I got into insurance, right? I'll just, I mean, I'm in the business of protecting. I guess I just what kind of what I like to say. Just in the business of protecting your loved ones. You know, whether just making sure they got enough for the funeral and final expenses. Cover your income, cover your mortgage, your children's educations. Head Start programs. And then you ever get diagnosed with cancer, get paid hospital indemnity. Just pretty much a little bit of everything. Also on top of that, by helping direct people in the direction who's interested in developing generational wealth at the same time while all doing that same thing. So that's kind of what kind of got me into it. What even more kind of more in depth. Just obviously just meeting relationships as well, kind of talking with different people. Just obviously just being also a student of this as well. Just wanted to learn more myself. And kind of just be able to pass that knowledge along generations and generations and kind of keep that going, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, can you tell us just okay? Let's say you're just starting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're in your 20s or you're 18 and you're working and everything. What is your advice to the young people? This generation of the generation of I just the Lord have mercy on Mama Soul generation because that's what they do to me. So what do you tell them about insurance and getting
Okay.
insurance?
Okay, yes, ma'am. So my best advice I would kind of give, right? Someone 18, kind of, step into, more independent role in your life. Kind of, making your own. I'm gonna put it like that, kind of developing your own lifestyle. I would say get it early as possible, right? Because it's not a bank account that qualifies us for insurance. If our health, our age, and our habits, right? So the younger we are, the more affordable it is. You know what I'm saying? I know that's typically things that people kind of pay more attention to is the affordability of it. So the younger you are, the kind of the cheaper it is. I'm gonna put it like that. The older we get, the more expensive it becomes over time as well. So obviously, just being 18, teenager, right, kind of getting going. It's just important to get it while you're young. That way you have it, right? And you don't have to worry about getting it because it's something that everybody's gonna have to get it. We're gonna have to pay that price regardless, right? So whether we play that in increments over our lifetime, set up not only just our family's peace of mind, but just more so ourselves as well, knowing that we didn't come home tomorrow. Yesterday is still gonna look like tomorrow as well. So that's the mindset of it. Get it while you're young, while it's affordable. A lot of people don't know that you kind of get to pick what you want to pay out your pocket for insurance, the best plan to protect your family as well. So that would be my advice to just get it because there's more aspects. I'm sure we'll get into that as well. The perks of having it a little bit later down the road. So that would be my advice. Just get it while you're young. It's affordable. Something you can keep up with every month without even having to thinking about. So that's important to that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, even with that being said, is there a particular type that they need to get? Because, sometimes with finances, that's something you don't really learn in school, the knit and the grit of it all. But even as young or even as my age or
Mhm.
older,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
life insurance do you recommend to where because, you hear these things out here and people trying to learn and understand
Mhm.
about the fact that I can be my own bank.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
100%. I would say in that aspect of it, we do have a lot more people getting educated about it. They kind of don't even really know the verbiage. They just show me how to be my own bank. How can I be my own bank? So the policy I would recommend would be whole life policies, right? So cash value policy, universal life, select life, all of those are really under the same aspect of just whole life in general. So whole life policies are the best insurance we can have in the world. Why? Because it pays out 100% time. No matter when, where, how you die, that's gonna pay out. It's gonna be with you for the rest of your life. It never expires. No one can ever take it away from you. No one can ever cancel it. But while you're living, it's not just a death benefit that's gonna pay out to your family. I know that's typically in the back of our mind stuff we're not really worried about. We won't be here no more, which makes sense, right? But I think what people are kind of grasping on now is the aspect that it's a living benefit as well now. So you can literally have a policy where you're putting your money into it by just paying your payments every month. That money is generating for you. It's building cash value. Typically around 4.5% per year, no matter how the market's doing. So I think that's the great part about it. The market's up and down, this and that, but life insurance, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with the market. That's locked in for life. So the cash value aspect of it, also paid up options. You can cash it in. A lot of people now aspect of it is being my own bank. So what people are doing, I'm sure you're aware that banks shutting down, banks doing this, banks
yeah.
doing that. A lot of people not really trusting the banks no more, right? Especially what's kind of going on in the world right now. So everything's up right now, inflation, right? Everything's sky high, right? So a lot of people are taking their money, their life savings, instead of just having it sitting in your bank account. It's not really working, not really doing nothing for you. It's kind of probably just decreasing the more you transfer money over. Steady doing that, a lot of people are dumping their money and their entire life savings into their life insurance policy. Why? Because it's going to accumulate for them. They're their own bank in the aspect of it, because they can go pull it out whenever they may need, right? Pull it out to do this, or they can put back into it as well. So what we having people kind of do now are getting policies, getting great cash value policies, just assuming you can qualify, right? That's kind of the aspect of it now. People are kind of thinking about, how can I maximize this? How can I leverage this to get my family over the hump? So we established easiest way we established generational wealth. I'm just gonna say it is with life insurance, because it's tax-free money. I think that's the killer for a lot of people. So unlike a 401k or a Roth IRA, retirement trust funds, all that stuff, if you die before a certain age, that money's gonna get taxed anyway, right? So the great thing about life insurance is tax-free money. Even when it pays out, it's tax-free. Uncle Sam, he can't do really too much about your policy, right? So also for business owners, I know people like to leverage as well. It's another tax write-off, to be honest, as well. So you can use that aspect as well. It's literally working and accumulating for you over the years without you even thinking about it, right? So when we get to that age, or that time frame where we're able to kind of go in there and pull out and do stuff with it, it's always beneficial for families. Obviously, just knowing that they got that peace of mind, because I'll be honest, a lot of people don't care about what happens when they're no longer here anymore. What I mean? They don't really care about the financial aspect of it. But now what's making people a little bit more intrigued is that the fact that they can benefit from it while they're still living, right? So my family's gonna get this lump sum no matter what. So honestly, what I can do now, what I'm saying, it establish more generational wealth. So either setting your kids up for this, making sure they're taken care of, the education, making sure, not even just education, just making sure that some people pass policies along. Some people just establish it. Generation wealth starts with one person, right? One person can kind of change the entire generation aspect of it. So that's kind of more the mindset behind it, is the investment side of it. So I can honestly say that's what people are honestly more interested in that, and then this is the life part as well. So just because it accumulates for you. I mean, you beat it. I mean, you control it. You control what you pay a month. You control what goes in and out of it. So you kind of are like your own bank, infinite banking strategy, kind of, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
Yes, ma'am.
So, even with this being said, what is your thoughts on term? Because a lot of people, they tend to think that term is better. So, can you advise them why? What would be better? Even let's say if they're 50, my age, what
Okay.
would be the best approach?
So the best approach to a term 50, right? I just wouldn't recommend term is great to have. Any insurance is great to have. Don't get me wrong, right? A lot of coverage for such a low cost, what you can afford right now. But a lot of coverage, right? But what people don't typically understand about terms, right? Typically jobs offer term policies, right? What they understand, right, is once they leave and retire that job, that term you got, that insurance you got with work, even for what does stay with you, it's never as much as it used to be, right? So here in my company, Globe Life, right? So we only work with police, teachers, veterans, firefighters, nurses, carpenters, steel workers, unions, the blue collar workers of America. That's who we work with, right? So what we were noticing were, while they were with the job, they were good. They were taken care of. They had no worries, right? But once they left and retired that job, because we don't work forever, once they left and retired that job, we were noticing they didn't really have anything. And for what they had, there was just this big gap in their coverage that kind of left families kind of going through things that they shouldn't have been going through, right? So with the terms, they expire around the age 65 or 70. So if you're someone around the age of 50, I just want to put my money into something, right? Without more so getting a return on it, right? So you don't really get no return on that money. Terms don't build cash value for you, but they just always great to have just for affordability reasons. Obviously, a lot of people just like to have it just for a little extra peace of mind. If they pass away unexpectedly, within a certain time, or if something they dealing with a certain illness at the time, they just want something that they obviously can afford. But not only that, something that just gives them a little bit more peace of mind as well. But a term isn't bad to have. They just whole life and term just more specific in the way they pay out. You don't want you don't. I'm pretty sure everybody planning on living past 65 or 70. That's typically when that falls off, right? So you just want to make sure you got something that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Not with work insurance, accidental coverage. Now you kind of got to die a certain way, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? What we're noticing is pretty much you kind of don't died the job, that stuff kind of it's tougher to pay out. Because they're gonna want to know this and that and the third, right? Your family down to get the run around. So I just recommend having something outside of work, right? Whole life policy that's gonna be with you for the rest of your life, right? It's gonna protect you at work and when you away from work as well. So it's gonna
Right.
be with you for the rest of your life. So term isn't bad to have. If I had to answer that, it's not bad to have. It's great to have. It's just more specific in the way it pays out. So if I'm 50 years old, I probably wouldn't be looking into a term policy, right? Just knowing that 15 years, this may not, I may not have anything. I just kind of put my money into something I really see no return on. If that makes sense.
Right. It does.
Yeah.
It makes plenty of sense because sometimes we fail to understand that, you know, everything it is designed to be researched.
Right.
So when you research and you get a gain of understanding, then you'll know which way to go. And if you don't, then you find someone that can explain it to you. Not try to say, oh no, but you do need this. But if there's no need and you got something that's going to cover you and does things for you, then like how people say they're setting up generational wealth.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
So, do you talk to people about the generational wealth, about how to set that up? Do you help them, guide them to build it into a trust?
Yes, ma'am. So, I really don't use I say that the probably terminology of a trust, right?
Mhm,
Because this is a trust as well, but it kind of works a little bit more, in my opinion, a little bit better than a trust because again, while you're living, you benefit from that, right? So a
mhm,
trust is just more so just okay, I'm gonna trust that I know this 100% going, my family gonna get this right. But
mhm,
it's the same way with whole life. Whole life pays out 100% of the time, so that death benefit is guaranteed. When I say talk about generational wealth, I ask people kind of the aspect of it. What's more important to you, right? Your family or that nice house or that nice car? And I almost everyone says that their family, right? And I had to ask them to put a price on their family. They almost always tell me it's priceless. There's no price I can put on my family. But the great thing about insurance is there's a price we can put on that to protect your family. So, why do we typically go that route? Again, it's to establish generational wealth, right? So, we have people who get these $1 million policies, right? So, and I'm not encouraging everybody. I would love if everybody had two, three, $4 million policies, right? But
right.
obviously the affordability side of it, that kind of factors into it as well. Also being able to qualify for that stuff as well. So, not everybody can get insurance. Sadly, not everybody can get it because your health, something wrong with your health, your habits, background issues, that kind of disqualifies you from getting insurance. That's why I encourage people to kind of take that leap early on, right? Because over the years, as you know, our health changes. Certain medications we on, that stuff kind of disqualifies us from getting protection, right? So, generational aspect of it, right? You just want to make sure you set your kids up. That's the most important thing to a lot of people is their kids, their family, right? Establishing generational wealth. So these policies, right? When they pay out, like I said, it starts with one person. So you could be the one person to start the policy, right? Accumulate over because everybody wants to be that savior of their family. Everybody want to be that person that to hold the family down, right? To kind of everybody want to protect the family, but a lot of people don't know how. But with insurance, this is how we do it. So what's been happening is generational wealth established over the years from your policy, right? And when you pass away, all that money pays out in a lump sum, tax-free money. So your family inherits that money, right? And what you should encourage them to do as well is have policies on themselves. So you can just keep that cycle just going on and on and on. That's pretty much how we establish generational wealth, the aspect of it. So the cash value side is just a plus of it. Just knowing that your money's working for you, right? You really don't really have to do too much, honestly, but just make sure you're making your premium payments every month on time, right? So that's the side of it that I say that's been huge. For a lot of people is just knowing that when I pass away, my family, my kids, they're gonna get this in a lump sum. They're gonna be fine. Whether I'm out the picture and I don't come home tomorrow. So that's kind of what I would kind of say on that aspect of it.
I was listening to you when you said, that you can invest your money into it. So you're saying that, let's say I had $100,000 policy and my note was like $200 a month. If I wanted to put 400, I can do that.
100%. Yes, ma'am. You can put another 100,000 in there, and let that accumulate for you as well. So, a lot of people just they want it. They know a little bit about it, but they just need somebody just to steer them in the right direction. So that's kind of what I've been kind of running into. People just they heard about it, right? They just don't know how it works. So you literally, when people say you're your own bank, they're not exaggerating it. You're literally your own bank. So you can go put 100,000, 40,000, 420 bucks, whatever that might be. You're able to kind of invest that into your policy, let that work for you over the years, right? Then when you kind of ready to go get it, you kind of just able to do whatever you may like with your insurance policy. So I actually met with a guy. He had his policy since he was a kid. $100,000 policy it was. His mom set him up with it. When he got a certain age, around 21, he took it over. He took over the payments. With something that was affordable because people don't know you can get insurance on your little ones for as low as 40
And
cents a
then
day,
hmm
as long as early as 14 days after their birth, right? So he
right.
had it since then, right? So he was able to kind of leverage it, put money into it, and he ended up paying off his mortgage. He ended up paying off the entire house payment with his life insurance policy, right? And I really didn't have too much to say to him. I'm like, yes, sir, you pretty much taken care of. You get it. So it's just more so an aspect of people just getting it. So yes, ma'am, you able to kind of put whatever you may like into your policy and see a return on that. Obviously, when at the aspect of when you even ready to kind of see a return on it.
Okay, we have a question. Patronella just asked, what is the time frame of withdrawals?
So the time frame on withdrawal, typically, a lot of people get policies and think, oh, can I go get the money tomorrow? No, ma'am, it hasn't worked for you. So typically, the time of withdrawal, we recommend cash value typically starts to build within 2 to 3 years of your policy, right? So a lot of people, I know a lot of that discourages some people because they want to live. We life insurance isn't about living in the right now, right? We got to think about later down the road, a little bit later, a few years. So the time frame on a withdrawal is whenever it's there for you to withdraw. Whenever that cash value is accumulated over the years, you can go get your money whenever. You know what I mean? So if you had that $100,000 policy, Miss Sonia, and you put 50,000 in it, and 2, 3, 4 years, 6 years went by, you can go get that money whenever. Or you honestly, you go get that 50,000. Honestly, as soon as possible as well. But obviously, we want that to work. That was the point in putting in there. We want that to work for us and accumulate over the years. So you're able to get that as soon as it's available. And like I said, when you
So
go
that's
get it,
after the 2 or 3, the little time frame of
yes,
hold.
ma'am. But you got to let it accumulate now. It's life
Yeah,
insurance. Now. It's going to be with you the rest of your life now. You know what I mean? So it's
that's
going to
right.
be there always. So that's kind of my aspect on it. A lot of people just don't know that. But you can go get it as soon as it's available. And again, like I said, it's tax free when you kind of go get it. You can even a lot of people replace it. Whether you fall on hard times, you need it for this, invest in this. You get it back. A lot of people put it right back and let it do the same thing over and over again. So it's kind of just reoccurring.
Okay. Alois just asked, what is the best policy to have?
So the best policy is to have, right? Is a whole life policy. Universal life, select life, preferred life. All those policies are all cash value policy. Any life policy is a great policy to have because it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Whether you leave, retire your job, right? Whether you fall on hard times, that's going to always be with you. And so a lot of people, that just gives them a little bit more peace of mind, just knowing that they didn't make it home tomorrow, right? Their family's going to be taken care of. So the best policy to have, right? And anywhere you go, they'll tell you this is a whole life policy. That's honestly the best policy to have because it gives you the most protection for a long period of time.
Patronella just asked, is this living life insurance?
This is living life insurance, right? So this is living life insurance, right? So you benefited, like I said, it's not just a death benefit that's going to pay out to your family, right? That's guaranteed. That is 100% guaranteed. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can do anything. Nobody can cancel it for you. That's the death benefit, right? So the living benefit part of it is the investment side of it, the money you're putting into it. You're allowing that to accumulate over the years for you, about 4.5% per year. Again, no matter how the market's doing, that's locked in for life. For some people, they love that aspect of it because, as you know, 8.9% inflation rate, you know what I mean, recession, all these stuff is coming up now. So that's kind of putting people on high alert of, maybe I should, I heard they might even be getting the dollar bill is not, a lot of things are going on right now in the world that we kind of have no control over. But what we do have control over is this, our policy, our own infinite banking system. So this is a living benefit and a death benefit as well at the same time. So you can benefit from it both ways, right? Obviously, we ain't gonna be here no more to benefit from that death benefit, right? But what people kind of loving about it now is that they don't have to wait till something happens, right? Not just if, but when something happens, they kind of just get the benefit from that while they're living. So yes, ma'am, to answer your question, this is a living benefit as well.
I get it. Make this is more of your new way of saving.
Yes, ma'am, 100%,
Yeah, instead of
100%.
using that saving account that only give you a 0.0002 or one.
Right, and right. You really don't. Again, even when you go get that money, it's gonna get taxed. I don't know. Like, even if it's a couple of dollars, whether they take a couple of cents off, all that adds up over the years. Obviously, so great thing about life insurance is tax free money. Even the money you put into it it can be taxed, and I'm not sure if business owners are big into the investments or the tax side of things. It's just another tax write off. Just another tax write off plus an investment. It's just a win win in my book.
Let me give you a scenario because at first I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I am gonna do it because this happened. This is something that happened in real life that I know about that happened to someone.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let's say you have a small kid. Let's say y'all you raising your child and everything. It's just you and your kid, just y'all. You got family members that are there, and let's say you had a sibling you trusted, you thought you can trust. Let's say you had over a $200,000 policy set aside. So if anything happened to you while you raising your kid, you know your child will be taken care of, and you have said, okay, sibling, I want you to help me with this if anything ever happened, and then the unspeakable happens. The child is named on there as well as that person, but they takes the money, and the child is left with nothing. Is
Hmm.
there anything, because these are life things that happen,
Yeah, it does
so is
happen.
there anything in place to where that does not happen and they take the money and run instead of it being there for the kid? Because when the kid became was a teenager when this happened, he didn't have anything, not even the house.
100%. Okay, yes, ma'am. So what I kind of like to do here at Globe Life, what we kind of are big on, right, is just making sure we have enough beneficiaries down, right? So obviously we want to make sure they 18 and older, right? But we never deny kids being the primary because we know that a lot of single moms that all they got is their kid, it's just their
Yeah,
kids. I want to make sure your kids are primary, right? But I do want to make sure we got at least 4 to 5 people who are over the age of 18 and financially responsible who can kind of handle the funds as well. So what we also recommend and what we offer here at no cost as well, just a couple benefits. This is one of the many, right? Our wills, right? So making sure you have a will filled out. That way your assets, can either go to your estates or they can go to your kid. They inherit it, right? So just making sure you have some legal documentation, right? And a lot of people don't even know about wills. Guess they do kind of cost upward to 1,000 sometimes. But we do offer these at no cost. So this is the best way to ensure that never happens, right? So this process it's a long process. It's a journey, right? And family members, that stuff does happen in situations, but when we have that documentation down of a significant other or a spouse or a kid down as a primary beneficiary, they're first in line, right? And what a lot of
right,
people don't understand is that your beneficiaries, we get it over time. People die, people pass, so they're changeable. You know what I mean? They're not. It's not locked in for life. You can always adjust your beneficiaries. You can even adjust it down to what percentage of who gets what as well. So a lot of people kind of don't know that. They get put in that situation because they just put things down on paper, right? Without really thinking
right,
it through and having a safe plan. So what's the safety blanket to that to avoid that is making sure we have one of these, making sure we have a will filled out as well. That way it's telling exactly who our assets are going to, who gets what, and how do they get it in the form of fashion they get it as well. So I would just say making sure that your loved ones, kind of you got people you can trust. I'm gonna just put it like that down on your policy. That's the biggest thing. My advice to kind of fixing that problem.
but in that scenario, would you have thought that a trust would have been better, or to have someone, the estate, to take care of it until the child became of age?
So what people don't realize as well, you can put your estates down as your beneficiary. So you just want everything to go to your estates, you can set it up that way as well. So I'm not opposed of a trust. I'm not opposed to that at all. But again, we talking about a life insurance policy, a guaranteed death benefit, and a living benefit, right? So I was just more so just making sure we dotting our I's, crossing our T's in the aspect of how we want things to be passed down, how we want things to be distributed, right? So a lot of people do it in percentages. A lot of people do it just the estates, right? So that's kind of just my opinion on it, just my personal opinion, my thoughts on that as well. So I'm not opposed of a trust, but I just would say the will and the life insurance and the beneficiaries that should take care of everything in itself, right?
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So I have another question. Well,
Yes.
another scenario. Um, because even growing up, I noticed this. So what educational props that parents? Because that's something that a lot of us don't do as parents, and we blame everybody else. But what educational props do you think there's need to be given when it comes to life insurance? because I know too many times that I've seen where even with grown people
Hmm.
that they get this money because someone passed away and they take it and they blow it and they do nothing. And I know you're just insurance, but I know you young though.
All right.
You know
Right.
some things. So what is it that when you tell people, even older than me, that instead of just blowing the money, what else is it that they could do as far as maybe reinvesting it into their policy? What else? What is it that you can tell them?
So my biggest advice in that aspect is to avoid someone, just getting the money and blowing it at one big lump sum, right? You can control how much they even get over time. So whether you wanted to come out every month in increments, it pays out, or your kid get a certain age, they get this amount at that age. So kind of avoid that. I would kind of just say set it up that way. Set it up where you control who gets what, when, where, and how. The percentages of what they get over that period of time. Obviously the duration of your policy, and obviously the benefit of it as well, the death benefit that pays out. But to say what you do when you get that money now, the best thing you should do is, again, like you just said, invest that money into another policy. Reoccur. You can never have too much life insurance. There's no such thing as having too much life insurance. There's no such thing as having enough life insurance. There is a such thing as having what you need and what you don't need, though, in that aspect of it. But there's no such thing as having enough life insurance. So the best advice I can give is invest that money into another policy. Go get another universal life, select life, whole life policy. Put that money in there as well. Let that accumulate for you over the years. Leverage that, right? Go invest that into you can even put it in a Roth or 401k. Go invest that into that as well, something like that. That's kind of passive, income coming in. Accumulate over the years for you, obviously. But that would be my advice, to just invest that as well. A lot of people are doing now is the properties. A lot of people getting the duplexes, the quadplexes, investing in that and establishing generational wealth, all that, again, through that life insurance policy. They're borrowing against that, putting in that, using that to fund it, right? And then, when you get that back, you can put that back, and that can keep reoccurring, and you're establishing more and more generational wealth. So I would just say the best thing advice I would have is just put in another policy, right? Put in another policy. I mean, you don't really have too many restrictions, but just be disciplined enough to set that aside and keep that going. Just like the person who your loved one passed away did for you. Make sure your family's taken care of, and again, like you said, no GoFundMe's, fish fries, spaghetti dinners.
Exactly. Okay. So everybody, you see this Q code that I'm putting up? Can you see? No, it's not showing. Hold on. Y'all see this Q code I'm putting up? Let's make something magical. That is Liz Galore Brands. I keep telling y'all, you sleeping on this young lady. She is a chemist. She is a whole vibe. Her marinades are impeccable. Last week, let me share some with y'all, because I don't think y'all understood when I showed y'all that potato. I showed y'all the potato, the Texas loaded potato. Y'all see that?
Oh wow.
You see it? That was before the fixings got put on it. It came hot and ready, just like that. It came with shrimp. It came with the sausage. It came with the chicken. That chicken was not dry. That chicken was so moist. Y'all, I wanted to hurt her because I ate the I ate the shrimp before I knew it. And then when the fixings got placed on it, so y'all can see, I'm not, this girl ain't playing with you. When I tell you this was fat girl ready,
Wow.
this was fat girl ready. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? It had the Lola Rose marinade on it. It had the cream, the sour cream. It had cheese. It had chives. She fried up the applewood bacon and chopped it. It had this whipped butter that I'm going to start incorporating in my pound cakes. That butter was the bomb. And I don't eat butter by itself. But you see that little piece that's down on the little side, I end
Yeah.
up tasting. I was like, what the world is this? I mean, this was fat girl ready or fat boy ready, however you want to say it. If you ever, it took me 3 days to eat this, y'all.
Wow.
But it was two baked potatoes smashed up under there, and it was delicious. I even ate the skin. That's what I call fat girl ready. I was, it was good. Every time I would take a portion, put it in the oven, it was just like it was brought to me the same day. I have to give my hands off to Liz because she did the doggone thing with this potato. So I'm telling you, click on the Q code. She has her marinades. You will not regret it. You can put that ish on anything, anything. Her her Hilda jerk is great. The Lola Rose is great on seafood. Period. But to put it on that potato, it spoke to that inner girl. It spoke to her. So y'all get that Q code. I promise you, she is worth it. She's worth it. And Liz, again, thank you for the potato. I enjoyed it for 3 days. So, back to you. Um, Back to the insurance.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
what do you say about some of us? Because our parents, we work. They work, 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 work. They don't. Sometimes they never had time until they retire, and then things start. They start thinking about it. So when they start thinking about it, and then they realize they might not have enough insurance to do what's needed. What do you recommend for them? Everybody that's 60 and over.
Okay, so what I would just recommend is obviously, finding you an agent you can trust, right? Find an agent that has your bench interests at heart,
Hmm.
knows your situation, your financial needs, what you're trying to do, the direction you're trying to go, and the way you want your policy to kind of be set up. So, my best advice to them will obviously just be starting somewhere, making sure that we can just start somewhere. We got something, knowing that if it's a sometimes you run into the affordability thing with people who typically get over the age of 49, 50, right?
Hmm.
And I understand it, right? Because the longer we wait, like I said, the more expensive it just becomes. But what people really just don't realize is that you can start somewhere.
Yep.
It don't really matter where you start at. Just knowing that this policy are 100% adjustable. Every policy you got is 100% adjustable. You can always go up. You can increase. We don't recommend going down, obviously, but taking the value away. But you can always do whatever you may like. So I just recommend making sure you got something that's a little bit more permanent, right? So there's like 98 different deviations of insurance. But it really just comes down to two. That's permanent versus temporary coverage. So temporary coverage that falls around the terms, right? The work insurance, the accidental coverage stuff that expires. And the permanent protection is more so like again the whole life policies, right? So I would just recommend investing your money into something a little bit more permanent. Just knowing that you can see a return on that as well. A lot of people fail to realize that's going to build cash value for us as well. Even though we up in age, I don't exclude you from the living benefit as well. You can still benefit from that as well. If need be, we don't recommend it. You can even cash it in, get your money out, do whatever you may like, kind of leverage it any way you may like. So what I recommend for people, around the age 50 is just making sure you got something. Everybody, get on here and they, oh, how much is this? How much is that? What can I get for 40,000? And it's just like, oh wow, that's a little bit more affordable than I thought it was, and it's like 100%, right? Because we waited a little, we could have been thinking about this about 30 years ago, right? Or even sometimes I run into this instance where people don't qualify for it. They can't get anything. Who even want that big policy, or who even want to kind of just make sure they got something. Sometimes it's just a little bit too late now. Now we can't do anything because our health, our age, and our habits kind of exclude us from that. So my best advice would be someone for 50 want to kind of get something, get going. I would just recommend get started somewhere, right? Just make sure you got something. Sit down with someone. Make sure they understand your situation financially, what you can afford monthly. Just knowing that you get to actually pick what you want to pay. A lot of people just don't know that. But I recommend getting a whole life policy. I know a lot of people feel a way about it. And you may go to places where they say, well, they gave me a better deal over here. Yeah, they may probably show you about 500,000 for $50 a month, but we don't tell you about 2-3 years that's going to expire. That's not going to be with you anymore, right? So, invest your money and your time and your energy into a whole life policy, right? Just making sure that you locked in for life. So, that's serious. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Petronella wanted to ask, medical records are needed to qualify.
Medical records aren't needed to qualify, right? So we just run you through some health questions, right? Just seeing how you're doing health wise, your health background, any hospitalizations, prescriptions, that stuff, kind of just general questions, just seeing if you can qualify, right? Things still have to go through an underwriting process, right? So underwriters, they kind of get paid to kind of do the research. They go into your medical history, right? Depending on how much coverage you have, right? Even if people who may have things going on, the company still may only approve you just for a certain amount. Maybe but not what you wanted, but you're still gonna have something. Some companies do still approve you, even though you have health things going on. So anyone over the age of 59, we understand you're gonna have a stroke or two. Hopefully not, but a stroke here. You may be diagnosed with cancer here. Health questions are different. So anyone over the age of 59, their health questions are a little bit different for anyone under the age of 59. So we know obviously our elders, they're gonna have something that's going on. Obviously, no one's just gonna just obviously we love if you're 100% healthy, but we understand things are gonna sneak up over the years, and kind of come up at a time, probably we didn't expect it, like a terminal illness, like a cancer, a stroke, or heart attack. We're gonna understand that. So their questions are a lot honestly limited and narrowed down because we understand they're gonna have things going on, right? So we call those senior graded whole life applications. So they're senior graded. Those are for our seniors, right? What we call here is more so it's just a regular application, a supreme combo, making sure that anybody under that age of 59, their health questions will be a little bit more tedious, a little bit more in depth than someone over the age of 59. Just knowing that they're obviously going to have something going on. Just assuming that again that if they qualify, if they did not qualify, if that makes sense. I hope that answered your question.
Okay. I have another one. So let's say that your parent is retired, something happened, they have used most of their retirement money to take care of the expenses that needed. Do you recommend that, let's say the kids say, well, what can we do? Is there a way that the kids can get a policy on the parent to make sure whatever it is that they're needed and they pay?
Yes, ma'am. So we have people do that all the time. Obviously you just want to make sure, with your family members' permission, they understand that what's going on. A lot of people, you don't want to just get a policy that they don't know about it, right?
Right.
Because you're gonna need some of that personal information. So I know a lot of people kind of act weird, but we're gonna need your personal information, your social, your driver license number. That stuff is needed. Why? Because your name is Larry Jones. I don't want to be insuring Larry Jones that work at Domino's across the world somewhere, right? So we gotta have your personal information. So as long as you have that information, you can get a policy on whoever you meet, like assuming they can qualify. And a lot of people get policies in their parents' name, and they're just a payer. You can do that as well. So a lot of people do that just knowing that that their parents get up in age, they probably don't have something, probably don't have enough, just to give them a little bit more peace of mind, to kind of protect their family, after their loved one has passed as well. They do go out and take policies on their loved ones, right? I just say have their permission just out of courtesy, just so they know what's going on as well. But I mean, it's completely up to you how you, you go about your family. But that's just my advice on it. But yes, ma'am, you can be a payer on a policy and just have it under your parents, if that makes sense. They can be covered. You're just a payer. 100%. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else have any other questions? Liz just popped up too, y'all. I'm just going to throw that in. She said you can email her at lizgalorebrands@gmail.com for the best marinades and loaded style Texas potatoes. So y'all better get that in.
Yes, ma'am.
Get your fat girl and fat boy inhibitions in. You can work it out, go to the gym.
Right,
That's right.
right. It's the summertime, right? Yes, ma'am.
Exactly, exactly. Um, with all the statistics and everything that's going on, um, how do you feel about that? That the fact that, the difference in what is going on. I'm going to share this with y'all, and I just want you to speak on this, if you will, in regards to this, because I feel like it's important. So we can see what it is, the difference in. Can you see it of what
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
doing? The orange is us, and all the others are in the blue. When it comes to these different categories of, with insurance and how we're dealing with things. So being able to save money for an emergency fund, would you put that emergency fund in insurance, or would you put it in an emergency fund in the savings?
I will 100% pull it into the insurance aspect side of it. And I know people probably say that because you're insurance, obviously, but no, it's just no one can take that away from you. I just put it like that, and I'm pretty sure when you got something that's kind of holding on to, when you got something that's protecting everything, I'm just put it like that. Your chances of letting it go is just pretty not likely. So if you got something protecting your child's education, their future, their I say their how do I say their financial situation when you're no longer here anymore. You have something that's protecting if they were to get cancer, somebody were to get cancer, you were to get cancer, or if you were to go to the hospital, hospital indemnity, or if you ever got hurt, like an athlete, you make sure you get hurt, get paid. When you talk about the aspect investment side of it, when you talk about the funeral, a lot of people just don't. A lot of people worry about just the funeral, and that's a big no in my business, because you want to make sure you cover the funeral and final expenses. So a lot of people don't know, you can, just like you can pass on generational wealth, you can pass on generational debt as well. So when you go away, a lot of people don't know your debt just don't go away. That stuff still has to be accounted for. So any credit cards, student loans, taxes, all of that stuff, it still have to be accounted for. The bill collectors, they're still going to be calling, right? So we just want to make sure we cover the funeral and the final expenses. That's just a plus. But also just your bills, so your mortgage. So if you didn't come home one day, we have things in place that to pay off your house. Within 24, 72 hours, you're not being here anymore. Make sure your house paid off. Your kids have nothing to worry about. They got a roof over their head. That lovely home you built, you worked so hard on making the mortgage payments on. That's not going to be foreclosed, because the easiest way we see widows' houses on tax foreclosure side is because the death of a breadwinner, right? They kind of in charge of everything. So, also your income, we protect your income as well. So, these statistics, all of these look kind of pretty accurate, right? To be honest, the medical bills, the paying monthly bills, leaving dependents in different financial situations. Again, all that has to be on a tie with insurance. Is how we kind of defeat that. So, kind of how I was hitting on earlier. A lot of people, they want to cover everything on this list. They just don't know how, right? And how do we
Right.
do that is just with insurance. So income protection, make sure we cover your income. I recommend at least 5 to 6 years of income protection, right? Making sure if you didn't come home tomorrow, making sure your little one's still gonna have lights on in the house, they're still gonna have clothes on their back, food on the table, right? We want to cover your income. Cancer protection as well. I see hospital on here. If you ever get diagnosed with terminal illness, cancer is the leading cause of bankruptcy in America right now. A terminal illness is in that aspect of it. And a lot of people think they're fine with their health insurance. You're probably right. About 80, 90% of your bills would be covered under health insurance. But the problem that we've noticed with battling cancer is that it's not only costly physically, but it leaves financially devastated. And families kind of leave them just left to fend things out on their own. And co-pays, experimental drugs, the traveling,
Yeah.
all that stuff, that's not covered on health insurance. Even for what
Yeah.
is, health insurance doesn't pay us. That pays the doctors in the hospital. So we just like to
Exactly.
make sure we got a cancer protection plan that pays out while you're still living. A lot of people don't know that. You don't have to die from cancer for your cancer. If you have a cancer policy, that pays out while you're still living. That helps fight those medical bills, those other expenses. Could you imagine adding $1,000 on top of your current obligations? That'd put a strain on anyone, unexpectedly. It pretty much happens when you kind of walk in for that physical, a normal checkup, think you're gonna be in and out, right? And a doctor come in with a couple of nurses, and things look a little bit more different, a little bit more serious than kind of how things are, right? And we kind
Right.
of get that news of a prostate or a liver or whatever, breast, whatever that might be. And now in our minds, we devastated. We're not really thinking straight. That's just human nature. We kind of just don't think straight. We get emotional. We kind of count our days now. We have this day to live. We're gonna go through this treatment. We started here and then. Now we kind of forgot about all these things on this list because we're just trying to think about living now. We didn't really know. We think about dying, but we don't want to think about that. Everybody kind of focus on living. Nobody really thinking about dying. Everybody want to get to heaven, but don't know we got to die to get there. So
That's
that's kind of the aspect and the mindset behind it. Just making sure we have, again. That's why I say people have policies. I meet with people who have, you might have something or have life insurance. I know you have life insurance. I would be surprised if you didn't have life insurance, right? But there's some gap and holes, some there. So what we realized is we found family members, they was leaving their families financially devastated because they left a big gap that they didn't address. Whether it was the income, whether it was the mortgage, whether it was the debt, whether it was the funeral and the final expenses. So again, what I just recommend to take care of all these concerns, and I've read it, everything off on this list: student loan debt, on paying for your child's college, losing money on investments. Again, you can't really lose money in insurance. It's no risk you take, because it's always just positive, always accumulating, always cash value. It's always more of this, more of that, adding value in places where you know what I mean. You may not have it at in your everyday walk of life. So that would just be my advice on these statistics, is making sure that we got a life insurance policy, because I read everything on this list, and it addressed everything on the list, even job security, maintain a steady income, making sure your spouse, if you're a loved one, you're married, making sure that if they didn't come home tomorrow, we replace that income for at least 5 to 6 years, giving you time, to figure stuff out with the kids. You know what I mean? Giving you time to kind of mourn, grieve, because you're not gonna be in the right mindset of getting right back to work. I'm saying you're gonna need time to kind of figure things out, especially if you have kids, get them, understanding of things that we make sure all of that's protected under your policy. So that's why that stuff is important, Miss Sonia.
Oh, exactly. And you said that very, very well. Alois just asked, how long does it take a policy to go in effect?
So a policy goes in effect immediately. So the moment I offer free consultations, obviously for I love to serve so for especially for our community, free consultation, right? So policy goes into effect, you're conditionally covered. So even though things are being underwritten under that process, the moment we hop off a call, the moment we kind of secure and lock things in, you're covered. If something happened to you, the moment we got the call, we gonna pay out. That's just kind of how life insurance goes here. Well, here at our company, I'm not gonna speak for everybody. Here at Globe Life, that's kind of how we do things. Because again, we work with police, teachers, veterans, firefighters. They got some of the most dangerous jobs in the world. They family need to know that if something happened, that money gonna be there right away. We ain't got no time to wait, right? So the funeral home, that's a business too. At the end of the day, they want to be paid like yesterday. So they don't really have no time to wait. So we just want to make sure that's not a thought in your mind of just, oh, how long is it going to take for it to get approved, something happening between that time. No, man, you're covered the moment we kind of lock that in. We make that decision to protect yourself and to protect your family. So the moment we call, hop up the call, Zoom, a phone call, in person, whatever, you're conditionally covered under those rules by HIPAA law.
Okay, y'all, you see this Q code right here? This goes to his Facebook page. Kareem wants to be a part of your team, the journey of generational wealth. So, Kareem, tell them more about what you have to offer to help them to get where they need to be, whether it's generational wealth, whether it's security for themselves. What is it that you have to offer so they can call you?
So what I have to offer, most importantly, is just making sure your families, your loved ones are taken care of when you're no longer here anymore. Because when we gone, we gone, right? We can't really come back. And the mindset behind it, I hit on this briefly, is when it comes to car insurance, it's no brainer for us, right? We don't care what it is, full coverage. I mean, that's at least 200 a month. You know what I'm saying? At the least. So homeowners insurance, that's a no brainer as well, 300 or 400 a month, right? But when it tends to come to our life, we want to negotiate and kind of find the best deal. Unlike a car, where if you get in a car accident, you total your car, you go get a new car. You get in a car accident, you total your life. There's really no coming back from that. So, what I kind of like to offer, to make it make sense, is just obviously just it's financial freedom, not just one, right, but just more a peace of mind at night when you lay down, or when you go get that new home, or when you get that new job, or when you bring a new life into the world. Just knowing that we can have enough for the funeral, we protect your income, your mortgage, any cancer, get paid, hospital indemnity. We make sure that all that stuff is covered. Even your business. A lot of people don't even know you can protect your business with life insurance, right? Have certain things in place where somebody get this or they get that to keep your business going as well. So what I just want to be a part of that, just directing you in that, along this process, because it is a process. You know what I'm saying? It can be tedious at times, but it's really not that hard. It's pretty much in my book. I mean, obviously, I know a lot. I know a lot about it. It's what I do, so it's just a no brainer to me. But I'll say what I offer is what we offer is I'm gonna start with the kids. That's the most important thing because I know that's the most important thing. A lot of people is we have the Head Start programs. You literally lock your kid in with $25,000 of permanent protection. That's actually maxing them out. Anybody under the age of 18, that's pretty much kind of maxing them out. At $25,000 of a cash value policy, that investment policy I was talking about, that whole life policy I was talking about, that's going to protect their life. Not only that, but work as an investment for them. So I do meet with people who have just a trust set up for their kids or just a bank account that they just throw money into. I just recommend throwing money into your policy. That's the best investment you can make for your kid because by the time they're 21, the cash value on that is estimated around a couple $1,000s. That'll just be sitting there when they get in their 20s and their 30s. And I'm sure I would have been a lot of preaching. My mom kind of would have, set that up for me. I had some, kind of be there for me. So, and that starts as low as 40 cents a day. And your kids can get insurance as soon as 14 days after birth, right? Just again, assuming they can qualify, right? Next, I would say I'm gonna put it like this: your children's education. Making sure I'm pretty sure every parent wants their kids to go to college and have some type of form of education. Kind of is pretty much major in the aspect of them growing their life. You know what I'm saying? Going out and kind of moving on in different directions. Even if businesses, right? A lot of people kind of leave their kids' businesses behind. You just make sure they're protected. They got something to fund that. When mama not here no more, they can keep that going, establish their own generational wealth. There's something you started, so now it's just not about them starting it. They can say, no, my mom left me this in place, and I was able to kind of keep this going. So I would say that as well. But also I encourage, when it comes to adults, making sure you just got your funeral and your final expenses covered. Again, we cover your mortgage, and I keep hitting on this because it's important. A lot of people just don't know this. We cover your mortgage, we cover your income, right? In the event you want to come home of those, all those things are important because, again, when something a tragedy strikes, that stuff we not even thinking about. We're not thinking about the mortgage. That's thing that phone light bill we were stressing about that's hit on Friday. We're not even thinking about that no more, right? We're not even thinking about going to work, right? But if we're not working, what's not coming in? You know what I mean? So in that aspect of it, a lot of people kind of depend on insurance, and they come to find out, oh, my mom didn't really have anything, and for what
Right.
she had, right, it was with the job. They don't want to pay out. They want me to go negotiate in probate court and do this and do that. So how do we avoid that stuff? It's just making sure we got something set up. Do it early. Do it as soon as you can. And if you can't, it's an affordability thing. It's always adjustable. You know what I mean. You pick what you afford. I recommend just having something that comes out every month. You don't even think about. You know what I'm saying? $20 a week. You don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? That's not a lot of money. And you set that aside. Just setting $20 a week, an hour of work aside. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure that whether you go on tomorrow, your family's taken care of. So that's what I just want to be able to kind of educate you. Like I said, a lot of people do know about this stuff. They look into it, they see the videos. I know it's going crazy on TikTok right now about the cash value policy, the universal investment. So a lot of people just want to be steered in the right direction, and that's kind of where I come in. Just making sure you got to understand on why this is important to get and why it's important to keep. Right. So that's just more my aspect on it. I just want to be a part of that journey, just to even educate you. So I do offer free consultations. I typically use Facebook because I know that's where a lot of people, people just have questions as well. So you're able to just ask questions, and I'm able to kind of get back to you, or you're able to even want to book a free consultation, and I'm able to kind of get back to you in the aspect of it. So I just want to be a part of your journey, to protect your family, right, to establish generational wealth, but most important, just making sure you have the important things taken care of in life, right? Because again, everybody focus on living, nobody really think about dying, but when we gone, we gone. We just want to make sure that your family, they don't lose anything. Obviously, they lose you, a beautiful soul, right? But we just want to make sure that they don't lose anything financially.
That part. And I just had someone text me. They said, "What about grandbabies?" She said she was not able to afford to cover her children, but she wants her grandbabies covered.
We do the grandbaby. So we have something here at Globe Life. It's called a Head Start program, right? So grandkids, anyone under the age of 18, you literally can lock them in for protection for as low as 40 cents a day, depending on their age. So if they're around 8, 7, 10, I believe it's probably around like 8, $10 a month, giving them 25,000 of a cash value policy for as low as $2 to $3 a week. I mean, to me, I mean that's like we spend that without even thinking about it, right? So
That's true.
I mean a Chipotle bowl, you set that aside. I mean, you know what I mean? That's the grandkids policy. So yes, ma'am. You can definitely cover your grandkids, right? Again, I just recommend it, just having a permission of the parents. Just make sure everybody's on the same page, obviously in that aspect of it, because this is something that is important. And by HIPAA law, we're not able to kind of disclose certain information. But yes, ma'am, we just want to make sure we kind of got the grandkids taken care of because again, I mean they the next generation. So you set them up, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do the same thing for their grandkids because they're gonna remember what grandmom and granddad did for us.
Okay. Y'all see this Q code? Y'all need to scan it. I keep telling y'all sleeping on these people. This is KTB Enterprise Unlimited. Luxury is justified, and yet it is. It is justified. You can get almost. I'm going to say almost, but I think you can get anything from them. They are the Black Macy's. So you need to get this Q code. Anything you looking for. Like I told y'all when I showed you last week, I bought two a oil. Well, a oil was gifted to me, but I bought drug. I also got and received my other order. I ordered it on a Sunday, and I end up with it. That it was in on a Wednesday. I had my order. No matter what you're looking for, when it comes to colognes and perfumes, KTB is the people to contact. They
Uh,
know everything. They can help you get the scents that works best with your chemistry, because that's what we want. We want that scent to be, and when they get shocked, like I told you, like with Perry Ellis 360, it don't smell like Perry Ellis 360 on me the way people smell on them, because it mixed differently in air, and they're telling me, oh, you're lying. It can't be. That's not it. I know what that smell like. But I promise you, when you got something that works very, very well, it becomes yours. And so that's what we want. We want uniqueness. We want the best quality. We want the most excellent customer service, and they bring it all to the table. So if you want to get your summer on, you want to make sure you're getting what you're getting for the summer, contact them. They are the Black Macy's. That's why we call them Macy's. So contact KTB. They are Exquisite Taste endorsed. So contact them. I'm telling y'all, I'm very picky
I shot with them.
about what he shops with them. I'm very picky about my people. If you're not with the five that I have on my list of what I expect out of a company, they met all five. They met all five. You can't beat that. Mac lipstick still got a few left, just a few. Y'all better get it. If you're a Mac girl and you like Mac lipstick, better get it. I got the last Bobby Brown, so don't come asking for that. She ain't got it. They ain't got it. They ain't got it. So, but they do have some other makeup. Just contact them. They'll be able to be at your service. I'm telling you, don't sleep on them. Black Macy's, natural toothpastes. They got it. I buy the natural toothpastes as well as other people that also buys it. So don't sleep on them. And so with that even being said, is there anything else that you want to leave the people with a food for thought?
I would just say, no, we need protection like yesterday. So even if you're looking at this right now, it's not too late. It's not a bill; it's a benefit. Your family's gonna benefit from this. Obviously, you know what I mean. When you no longer here anymore, yes, that comes with a price every month, right? But that price can be something you can determine, right? So the easiest way we build generational wealth, right, is just with insurance. I just got to be honest with you. I wouldn't get on here and say something that wasn't true. I just want to make sure that everyone's educated on it. Everyone needs it. We're all gonna have to get it, right? Let's just get it now while we can afford it. It's affordable. We can qualify for it. Our health is doing amazing, right? Even we have stuff going on, we can kind of get ahead of that right before it gets worse. And now that disqualifies us, now we have to do the GoFundMe's and the fundraiser. So if I had to leave one more thing with everybody, it's just that generational wealth that starts with one person. It only takes one person to establish it, right? The question is, are you going to be that person to kind of change your family outcome, to change you guys' scenario, to change the protocol it is around the black community, right? And life insurance when it comes to that, because that's typically a conversation none of our people typically like to have. But I had to leave that with you, is just understanding that that I'm here to help. A lot of people are here to help. And just understanding that and the aspect of it is that the most important thing every day is really not about us. It's about our kids, our loved ones, and the stuff we get to, kind of leave behind. So that's kind of what I would just say. Just encourage everyone to look into it. You have that QR code. My information is on my business card as well. Like I said, I do free consultations as well. I would love to sit with anyone who's willing just to sit down and talk about it, right? Obviously. So I would just leave that with everyone. Miss Sonya, also just you as well. Just thank you for having me on. Just being able to express, and can explain the awareness behind how important this is as well. So I do appreciate you for having me on as well, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. I appreciate you coming on, because sometimes people just don't. And if you don't see it, y'all, it's right there. That's his phone number is 912-429-9201. Screenshot it if you have to, but that's his number, 912-429-9201. He did state that he does free consulting. It don't hurt. It don't hurt to get with someone and ask the questions that need to be asked. You know, the only dumb question is the one that's not asked. So ask the questions, get an understanding, because like I always said, knowledge is power. And the only way it's power is when you apply it. He has it, he's applying it, and he's willing to give it to you. So contact Kareem. I don't believe you will go wrong by contacting him. It does not hurt. The one thing we're gonna have to stop worrying about is price. You don't worry about price when you going out here shopping. You don't worry about price when you out here eating these $200 meals. You're not worrying about price when you going out buying a luxury car that you can barely afford. Stay within your means, or I believe in below your means. But insurance is something that's priceless. If your family, like he said, is priceless, then insurance is priceless. So contact him. I recommend it. The brother just, a lot of young people have a lot of knowledge, and he just dropped a whole lot of nuggets tonight. So I hope you wrote it down. If you have any other questions, scan that Q code, contact him. I gave you the phone number. Contact him. And this won't be the last time he'll be on. He'll be
No,
back.
man.
We
Yes,
got
man.
some other
100%.
things in store. So y'all tune in again. Next week, we're going back to Let's Bring It to the Table, and we're going to talk about the blaming game.
Yes, ma'am.
So come back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's Bring It to the Table will be on. They miss you too, boo. And so come on in, sit down, have a seat, grab a cocktail, because we're going to get into the deets. So, Kareem, again, we do appreciate you coming on. We appreciate the fact that you gave all this knowledge. We really, really do. But everybody, as well as knowledge, like I said, it is the power. So come on, let's get it. Financially free in 23.
Yes, ma'am.
This ain't no game.
Yes,
This is
ma'am.
not a game. We serious about this. So next week we got that, and then we also going to pick a day where we're going to talk about the intention of a solution from the vision board, because we got to keep you on track. And if anybody have any questions, anything, you know how to reach me.
100%.
And we bid you all good night.